Good morning to all of you. In this session, we will discuss one of the most important topic in SAP MM. So, like for interviews point of view, this is one of the most important topic in SAP MM. Request for quotation. So we will see what's the business requirement for that request for quotation and what are the configuration steps that we will discuss in that video. So first of all, what is request for quotation? So as you see by the name itself, request for quotation, like quotation request you can say. So let me give you a very practical example. Let's suppose you just want to purchase a laptop, a HP laptop you just want to purchase, and that must have a description like that specification 6 GB RAM, 1 terabyte storage and 3 gigahertz processing. All these specification that computer have, and you just went to shop first. You will not directly purchase from shop first. What you will do, you will go to 2 3 shop. Generally you will go for 2 3 shops at least, and you will ask for their quotation price. So let's suppose in shop 1 you just went and you just asked the price, so they are just giving the quotation of 30,000. Shop 2 they are just giving a quotation of 35,000, let's suppose like that. And shop 3 the quotation is just like 28,000. So what you will do then you will just compare the quotation, whatever shop 1, shop 2, shop 3 have given that quotation. You will simply compare the prices and all quotation conditions, everything you will compare, right? So you will compare, and then by comparing you will just select the shop. So let's suppose you just selected the shop 3, and then after that you will place a order for shop 3, and you will purchase that HP laptop from shop 3, right? Same like that, in real time, whenever companies just require some material and they freshly want to search some vendor, let's suppose some X material is there, and that X material that organization just want to purchase from some vendor. So directly they are not going to purchase from the vendor if it's the first time they are going to purchase. So they will just send a request for quotation for vendors or suppliers. So let's suppose 2 3 suppliers or 3 4 suppliers, whatever it is, they will just send a request like please send a quotation. So once they will just send, that organization will create a quotation request for quotation, and they will just send that to vendor or supplier, and then vendor and supplier will send their quotations. And after that, like after vendors have sent their quotation, end users or employees in the company, they are going to compare the first they are going to maintain the prices in the system, SAP system, and then they are going to compare these prices, and after that they are going to select the vendor, and other vendors they are going to reject, and from the selected vendor we will create a PO, right? So what's the business requirement? If interviewer is going to ask to you what's the business requirement for that request for quotation, that simply whenever the company needs material, they will raise a PR, and based on the PR they will create request for quotation. In the request for quotation they give mandatory details like quotation deadline date, purchase group, purchasing org, delivery date, and other data copies from PR. So what we will do, simply first we will see the complete end-to-end configuration in SAP system, okay? Then we will discuss about that business requirement, then it will be crystal clear to you, right? So first we will just see in SAP system, and we will do that in SAP S4 HANA latest version, SAP S4 HANA 2023 version. So let me open SAP S4 HANA 2023 version. So first step is we are going to create a purchase requisition. So step 1 is like request for quotation, RFQ, right? So step 1 is we are going to create a purchase requisition. And what's the T code for that? Simply T code is ME51N, right? So we'll use ME51 and here we will create a purchase requisition. So in item overview, let me give material number. Like let me open list of my material by just using T code MM60. And here let me give my plant. Quantity, unit of measurement, plant, purchasing group, storage location, check, it's like no message issued during check, so I can save this PR. So purchase requisition is created. This is my purchase requisition number, right? So let me paste that in notepad. This is purchase requisition number. Step second is we are going to create a request for quotation. So create request for quotation. And like we are going to create request for quotation with respect to purchase requisition. So with respect to PR we are going to create, and T code we will use ME41. T code we will use ME41. So this T code we are going to use, and we are going to create with respect to purchase requisition. Request for quotation, we are just creating request for quotation request that we will send to the vendor, then vendor will send their prices, right? So by just using T code ME41 we will create request for quotation, ME41, hit enter. This is create RFQ screen, okay? And you can see also this is S4 HANA 2023. This is latest version of S4 HANA. So here we will just mention all these fields. So like document type for request for quotation is AN. AN is a document type. Request for quotation date is this one, and deadline date, let me take any deadline date, right? And here purchase org, purchase group, yeah. So like I just need to, let me create that again, ME41 and just ME41, and here what details I need to mention. This is document type, standard document type AN, here RFQ date, and here quotation deadline date. So what's the difference between that RFQ date and that quotation deadline date? So RFQ date is request for quotation date. So whatever date you are going to maintain that document, this is a RFQ date. Like today I'm going to maintain that RFQ document. So this is RFQ date 20 January 2025. But quotation deadline date is like on which deadline date that vendors and suppliers are going to submit their quotation will be the quotation deadline date. So practically this quotation deadline date will be after that RFQ, request for quotation date. Yes, so quotation deadline date, I can take any date after that RFQ date, right? Just click on reference to purchase requisition, and here let me give here purchase requisition number. So this is my purchase requisition number. Just paste it and hit enter, right? That all data I just copied from purchase requisition, right? This material, this short text, okay, like this plant, this all copied from this purchase requisition. So what we will do, we will just select this line item, this line we will select, and we will just click on adopt plus detail. So once we just click on this adopt plus detail, we need to mention these details here, right? So here like delivery date. So delivery date must be after that quotation deadline date. Yes or no? Yes. Why it should be after that quotation deadline date? The reason is like quotation deadline date is the date on which the vendor or supplier is going to submit the quotation. But that delivery date is the date on which that vendor or supplier is going to deliver the goods. So definitely this delivery date must be after the quotation deadline date. Yes or no? Yes. So that we will take any date after that quotation deadline date and hit enter, and here we will just maintain that, okay, and then we are going to save it, right? So like you just see there that seventh icon is available, supplier address. So first we need to we need to maintain supplier address, and then we will just save it. So supplier, let me open the list of my suppliers in T code mkvz. So in another session I will just open list of my suppliers. So mkvz is list of my suppliers. So these are all list of my supplier. Copy and let me paste it and hit enter. So all that data is just copied from vendor master record, whatever we have maintained in BP or in vendor master record. So here postal code, all these details just mention and hit enter and save. Save, just click on this save icon. Yes. So this RFQ is created under this RFQ number. So this RFQ is created under this RFQ number. RFQ created under this number. Right, same like that I will create another RFQ with another supplier. So I will just change the supplier, okay, let me take some another supplier. So here let me take this supplier. So let me copy this and let me paste it here, hit enter, and just give these details here like telephone number, mobile number, all these details. hit enter and save. Yes, so it's created, RFQ created under this number. So this is my second RFQ. Same like that I can create for another suppliers also. Okay, so let me create third RFQ, request for quotation, for this supplier or this BP, business partner. Okay, don't confuse with the vendor and supplier. In ECC we used to say vendor, in S4 HANA we used to say supplier, but both are same, so don't confuse with that. Hit enter and save it. Yes, so this is my RFQ number that I will copy and I will paste it here, right? So that we have sent it. Step 2 is create RFQ, and that RFQ, request for quotation, in ME9A we will just print and we will just send to that supplier, and we will simply send, we can send through mail, we can send through fax or through mail. Once we just receive the quotation from vendor, quotation will be like, I just given that example, like for that laptop 30,000, 34,000. So this is a quotation for laptop, you just went to 3-4 shops and this is a quotation there. Same like that, the vendor will also share their quotation, and how their quotation will look like. So their quotation will look like that. So let's suppose this is one vendor, this is second vendor, this is third vendor. The first vendor is just send the quotation like the material cost will be 79 rupees per piece, and this conditions will be like discount from gross price will be 3%, absolute freight will be like 100 rupees, and delivery date will be current date plus 6 week. So this is like first vendor just shared the quotation. Second vendor is just, this is second vendor, and this is sharing his quotation like material price this, conditions are this, delivery date is this. Okay, and third vendor is saying like material cost will be 82 rupees per piece, and conditions will be like discount on gross price will be 10%, and the delivery date will be this, right? So this type of a quotation that vendor will share, and then we have to maintain these quotations. So how we are going to maintain that quotation? Simply by just using T code ME47. So third step is, step 3 is maintain quotation. So how we are going to maintain quotation? By just using T code ME47. So we are going to maintain that quotation in ME47 T code. So we'll use T code ME47, right? And in ME47 we will just give here quotation number, RFQ number, ME47. So here let me give first quotation number. This is my first quotation number. Just copy this and just paste it here and hit enter. So here we will just maintain the price here. So for MAT01 let me maintain, let's suppose 10 USD. Okay, so this supplier is just saying like he's going to for this mat 01 he's going to charge 10 rupees. Okay, so that quotation that supplier have shared to us, we are maintaining that only here. Okay, so net price is 10 rupees. Okay, and here we can also maintain the conditions. Okay, and just save it, just save it. So this quotation for RFQ is maintained. So this quotation is maintained. Same like that I will also maintain my second quotation, this quotation. Okay, so for this quotation also we will maintain. Just provide your quotation number here, RFQ number, and hit enter. Just hit enter, and here we will just maintain price. So for this supplier, let me take price 12 USD. So this supplier is charging 12 USD per piece. Hit enter and save it. Save it. Same like that I will maintain for third quotation number. Hit enter, and here let me mention the price. So let me mention 20 USD. Hit enter and save it. Right, we just maintain all these three quotation. Now what we will do, next step in our system, we will compare all these quotation. So next step will be compare quotation. And what's the T code for that? T code is ME49. So in ME49 we will just mention this purchase organization, and quotation number from to we will mention here. So these are my quotation numbers. From this quotation number to this quotation number. Hit enter and execute. So now you can see how much SAP system is smart. SAP system itself saying like this vendor is a best vendor and its price is 70% less expensive. This is rank 1. Okay, and like total value for this is we have to pay is 1000. For this we have to pay 1200. For this we have to pay 2000. This is 143% expensive. So whatever supplier you can see here in green color, green indication, SAP system is recommending that supplier. Another remaining supplier will be in yellow display, like in yellow color. Okay, but this is in green color. That simply means this is a suggested vendor. So for remaining two vendors, just reject this, click this R checkbox, hit enter and save it. Yes, same just do with this. We'll select R checkbox and save it. Yes, right, but for that selected vendor that's in green indication, don't reject this, just reject another two vendor, right? Now next step is we will just create a PO from the selected vendor, and from rejected vendor if I'm trying to create a PO, my system will throw a error message. Let me show you that also. Okay, so what I will do, I will just try to create a PO. Step 5 is create a PO. Create PO from selected vendor or selected RFQ, you can say. So we will try to create a PO. So let's see. Better to write create a PO with respect to RFQ. So we will create a PO with respect to RFQ, and we will just use T code ME21N. I will go to document overview on, click on selection variant and click on request for quotation, and here I will mention my quotation. So if I just remove this field, this and this vendor field, and I will just execute, you will see all my RFQ. So these 3 RFQ I will try, this last 11, 12 and 13. So let me try with this 11. Adopt, check. You can see no message generated for output of purchasing document, because this RFQ is a selected RFQ, like we have selected this RFQ number for that vendor or supplier. That's the reason I'm not getting any error, right? This is how we are creating a purchase order with respect of document overview. Let me mention you again how I'm doing. Just use T code ME21N, hit enter, just click on document overview on. That also I will explain you, like ways, how many ways are there to create a purchase order and purchase requisition. So in that I will again explain that, but here you just see how I can create with help of that document overview on. So once I click on this document overview on and I just click on this selection variant, just go to, if I want to create a PO with respect to RFQ request for quotation, I will just go this option, this entry request for quotation. If I want to create purchase order with respect to purchase requisition, I will just select this one, this option. If I want to create purchase order with respect to my purchase order, I will select this option, right? So here I will just select request for quotation, and here I will give these details so that I can see my my request for quotation numbers. So you can see these 3 I just created now, and this I just created earlier for this plant and purchase organization. So this is selected RFQ request for quotation, and these last 2 are a rejected one. So let me try to create a PO with this rejected one. So select and adopt. So how I'm going to adopt, just click on this icon. So just adopt from here and simply click on check. So hit enter. Now you can see this warning is coming. This quotation item already rejected. So this is a warning that we can also convert that warning to error, but system right now is throwing that warning like this quotation is already rejected. Okay, same it will happen with this also. Let me do that. ME21N, document overview on, go to selection variant and here you can see request for quotation. So once we click on request for quotation, and once we see the request RFQ number here, like that's all my RFQ. So if I try with this also and adopt this, all details just copied from RFQ. I need not to maintain anything like material number, supplier, or that header data, org data. I need not to maintain any mandatory data. Everything is copied from that RFQ. I just need to click on check, and this will say like this quotation item already rejected, because these two quotation I have rejected, this and this, but this one I selected. Okay, so let me create with this first one. Again I have to open this screen. You can close from here, this one. Open this document overview on, go to selection variant, go to request for quotation and execute from here, and here you can just click on this first RFQ and just adopt this and just click on check. Now you can see no message generated because this one is a selected RFQ. So I can save it. Yes. Now purchase order is created. Standard PO is created under this number. So standard PO is also created, right? Now next step. Step 6 is we will see that in ME53N, in display of that purchase requisition, we will see that. So just use T code ME53N. So check in display of PR display, you can see PR display by just using T code ME53N, sorry, ME53N. Let me use this T code ME53N. And whatever my purchase requisition number is, I will just click on this icon, other purchase requisition, and I will mention my purchase requisition number here. So this is my purchase requisition number. Just copy and paste it and hit enter. So once we just go to this status tab, you can see. So this is my purchase requisition, and these all three are my request for quotation. So from here you can see, okay, in status tab, in purchase requisition display. Now we will see that business requirement for purchase requisition, or business requirement for that request for quotation. So what's the business requirement for that request for quotation? Let's see. Whenever the company needs material, they will raise purchase requisition, and based on the purchase requisition, they will create request for quotation. In request for quotation, they give mandatory details like quotation deadline date, purchasing group and purchasing org, and delivery date, and other data copies from purchase requisition. Then after getting quotation prices from the vendor, purchasing group maintain quotation with RFQ number. Who is going to do that in real time? Purchasing group. You can say like end user, SAP MM end user, or store guy, or procurement engineer. So purchasing group used to do that, and they used to maintain quotation with RFQ numbers. After that, they do compare a quotation, and the quotation comparison will suggest the best quotation. Like we have seen that in ME47. If you want to reject the vendor, like in ME49, we have seen that if you want to reject the vendor that we are not interested in We will check on quotation number and select rejected checkbox, information that the vendor is rejected. So with the selected vendor, with the selected quotation, or you can say vendor, we can create a PO with respect to RFQ by just using T code ME21N. So that's how you can create request for quotation with respect to purchase requisition. And then what's the business requirement for that request for quotation, why we are using that in real time, what's the business processes for that we have discussed, and then what's the configuration steps for that we also have discussed. So step 1 here is like create PR. First we just created a PR, then we just created a RFQ with respect to PR, and by just using T code ME41. Okay, just retain whatever we have learned so far in that. So then we just created a request for quotation. Like if we have 3 suppliers, so 3 requests for quotation we will create. If we have 5 supplier, we will create 5 requests for quotation. Then we will maintain a quotation by just using T code ME47, and then we will compare the quotation by just using T code ME49, and then we will create a purchase order with respect to request for quotation. Okay, and with the selected RFQ, system will allow, SAP will allow us to create a PO, but with the rejected RFQ, system will throw a warning message like this RFQ is already rejected, that we have seen. Then we just created a purchase requisition. We just use this T code ME53N to display PR, purchase requisition, and in that in that status tab, in item detail in status tab, we have seen our all, we can see all RFQ there. Okay, like you can see here all RFQ, you can see from here, right? So these all 3 are our RFQ numbers, this one, and this one. So this is all about that request for quotation. In next class we will see like most important interview question from this concept request for quotation. I just compile most important interview question from this topic request for quotation.